speed. He is speed. Why? He's the fastest man alive, that's why. Blink, and you're gonna miss it. That is the life of Barry Allen, aka The Flash. And in this particular graphic novel review of Absolute Flashpoint, Barry, that man doesn't just blink. No, he pretty much face plants so hard into the timeline that the entire DC universe gets a cape of the whiplash. Welcome to the story where the Flash learns the world's most dangerous lesson. Sometimes running back to fix your problems just gives you more problems. And I'm not talking about the kind of problem where you accidentally text your ex at 3 a.m. I've never done that, but I know it's not good. I'm talking about the kind of problem where Wonder Woman and Aquaman are playing World War III like it's a personal grudge match. Batman carries a gun all the time like he's Dirty Harry or the Terminator. Superman don't look too super. He hasn't seen sunlight in forever, or food, or people in decades. And your mom, Barry's mom, not your mom, the very person you lost as a child is somehow very, very much alive. So yeah, buckle up, buttercups. We're about to sprint through one of DC's darkest, wildest, and most timeliniest timelines, destroying stories that were ever published, making things out of nothing, creating something that's very confusing and quite aggravating. Do you realize some people hate the Flashpoint timeline? But we'll get into that another time. And unlike Barry Allen, I promise not to break reality while I'm doing this. Well, I hope not. It's a small space. Though no promises about breaking your patience. So let's get started. Let's start talking about the world. Barry Allen. Barry wakes up. Barry Allen wakes up, probably at his desk. His head is down, he's groggy, probably been drinking a little too much of that happy juice from the timeline, maybe? That Speed Force cocktail? No costume, but no speed. The man who once moved faster than the speed of light now moves slower than me on Monday mornings before coffee. And in his confusion, he discovers two impossible things. Number one, his mommy, Nora Allen, is somehow very much alive, which should be the happiest news of his life. And two, the entire world is a burning, raging dumpster fire. See, in this timeline, Bruce Wayne, the boy who lived where Thomas and Martha died in Crime Alley, yeah, not here. In Crime Alley, it was little Bruce who got shot. And his father, Thomas Wayne, he's the one who became the Batman. And this Batman isn't your brooding poetry in the rain type. He's a gun-toting, whiskey-swilling, cigar-smoking vigilante. What's wrong with that? With all the charm of a mob enforcer. The man makes Frank Castle look like Mr. Rogers. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, remember when they had subtle tension and flirtation in the old stories? Yeah, they got into a full-blown extra relationship. Didn't work out well. That's gone. Here, they've declared all-out war. Amazons versus Atlanteans. It's less will they or won't they, and more will they wipe humanity off the map before breakfast. Spoiler, they will. Superman, forget about him. Forget the Man of Steel. He's the man of skeletal. Captured by the government as a baby. Locked away underground like some alien lab rat. No sun, no strength. No Superman. And then there's Cyborg. You know, Cyborg. He's Cyborg? Yeah, that Cyborg. Who has somehow become the poster boy for the United States government. Their official hero The red, white, and metallic blue of patriotism, if you will, which sounds great. Until you realize Cyborg spends most of the story being ghosted, harder than a bad Tinder date when he tries to recruit other heroes. Bye-bye. Barry, well, that man, he's powerless. His ring, empty. His costume, gone. His powers, missing. So he's basically just a guy in khakis screaming, "Wait, you don't understand. I used to be important. Listen to me." And Thomas Wayne, the Batman, is standing there like, "Sure, kid. Now either get your powers back or get out of my cave." Welcome to my rendition of Flashpoint. Absolutely. It's like It's a Wonderful Life if Jimmy Stewart got drunk and punched himself into a dystopian nightmare. Mary, the kids, Zuzu's pedals. Please tell me you got that reference. I mean, who among us hasn't woken up one day thinking, wait, did I accidentally rewrite the entire timeline with binge watching my trauma? Just Barry? Cool? Only Barry? Okay, cool. So, let's get down to friends, foes, and some familiar faces. This is where Flashpoint flexes its muscles. Parading in a cast of characters you know and love. Well, I hope you love them because I'm going to talk about them anyway. Only now they're twisted, they're darker, and straight up unrecognizable. And if you are a Flash fan, you'll recognize every speed bump Barry is going to slam into. Let's start with the Rogues. Now, normally they're the lovable blue-collar criminals of Central City. Guys with gimmicks, guys with grudges, you know, the usual thing. In this particular timeline that Barry wakes up in, Citizen Cold, yeah, that's Captain Cold, Leonard Snart, he's a hero in this timeline. Or so Central City thinks he is anyway. In reality, he's just murdering people under the guise of saving them. I wonder how he does that. We'll see. Because, of course, he is. When life gives you lemons, Captain Cold builds a freeze gun. Then there's the other captain, Captain Boomerang. He's here, though his role is less boomerang quips and more cannon fodder in this screwed-up reality. Mirror Master, the master of mirrors. Heatwave, Pied Piper. I'm just going to let that pass. Weather Wizard, let that pass too. And the top. Man, these names suck. They all make appearances in some shape or form. Some are barely recognizable, especially with names like that. Some are straight up evil. And all of them remind you of one thing. The Rogues are just as warped in this timeline as Barry is. Reverse Flash, though. Oh, that poor Eobard Thawne. The man who's built his entire career on being the pettiest victim or pettiest villain in comics. Here he doesn't even cause Flashpoint. That's the cruel joke. Barry did this to himself. But Thawne, well, he's here to dance on Barry's grave and laugh in his poor little freckled face. Reverse Flash doesn't need to break time. He just needs to tell Barry, you did this. You destroyed the world. You wanted your mommy back, and now millions are dead. Real nice guy, that Eobard. He's like the guy who doesn't spill the drink. Spends all night telling you how you spilled it. Great guy. And then we've got allies, like Cyborg, trying and failing to hold the world together. The Batman, Thomas, who really just wants to shoot people. Superman, he gets free eventually, looking like Christian Bale in The Machinist, but still packing a laser-eyed punch. And then there's Nora Allen, Barry's mom, the emotional heart of it all. She's alive, which is beautiful and tragic at the same time, because her survival is the very thing that's tearing this reality apart. So, when you look at it from the audience point of view. Congratulations, Barry. You saved your mom. Sweet. Unfortunately, you also doomed the world to endless war, mass graves, and a Superman with the body mass of a string bean. But hey, at least you get home-cooked meals again. Ah, yummy. Now let's keep going deeper into these broken timelines. Now, the war between Wonder Woman and the Aquaman isn't just background noise. It's the roaring thunder that's cracking the planet in half. It's the foundation of all the nonsense. These two are tearing through Europe like it's their personal chessboard. Civilians? Collateral damage. Countries? Bye-bye, gone. Their soldiers? Just straight-up cannon fodder. It's pure carnage. Mythological slaughterhouse. And Barry, he's scrambling to fix it. Now he hopes Thomas Wayne's Batman will help him out, so he ropes him into recreating the lightning strike that gave him his superpowers. First attempt, absolute failure. Instead of the Speed Force, Barry gets third-degree burns. I don't know why that's funny to me. He looks like a barbecue accident with a pulse. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Burnt Barry, everyone. Now the second attempt. Success. Boom. The Flash is back. Baby, and the sparks are flying. Speed restored. But party's not over yet. Superman finally escapes his government prison, looking like someone who hasn't eaten since the Clinton administration. And that was a while ago, kid. A long time ago. All you kiddies, that was a bit time ago. But the moment he sees sunlight, his powers awaken. I'm guessing they kept him in either no sunlight or in red light. He saves Barry's life, then takes off like a scared child who just realized the outside world actually exists. It's kind of heartbreaking, really. The Man of Steel reduced to a malnourished science experiment. Meanwhile, the Batman, Thomas Wayne, he turns out to be the MVP of the entire book. He's brutal, uncompromising, and strangely sympathetic. I almost lost my words there. He knows Barry's right. He knows the world is wrong, but he doesn't care. Doesn't give a damn about saving humanity. He just wants to save his son, Bruce. And the only way to do that is to help Barry reset the timeline. So when you look at it from the outside in, Barry Allen electrocutes himself. Superman is basically Gollum with a cape. Wonder Woman's decapitating people like she's auditioning for Mortal Kombat. And Batman's chain-smoking his way through midlife crisis with a gun. Very, very loaded. Now that right there is a fun family adventured experience. Moving on. Here we get to the crescendo, the climax. Not that one, you pervs. The climax of the whole story. Barry races into battle. Heroes die. The war peaks. The body count also rises. Reverse Flash reveals the truth. Barry caused all of this, and you know he was happy to tell him that. Not Thawne, not the Speed Force, but Barry Allen himself. He ran back, saved his mother, and caused all this problem. And then that whole butterfly effect thing happened, and it turned the whole worse into a... worse? Wow. It turned the whole world into a slaughterhouse. Thawne, Eobard, loving this. This is his masterpiece, even though he didn't do anything. Watching Barry squirm, that's giving him a bit of the jollies. Watching him realize he's the villain of his entire own story. Thomas Wayne's Batman, in a rare moment of tenderness, gives Barry a letter for Bruce. One last gift from a father to a son who doesn't exist in this particular world. And then he sacrifices himself so Barry can escape. Barry runs. He runs harder. Pause. Faster, brighter than he ever has. He pushes himself through the Speed Force back to the night his mother was murdered. And this time, he lets it happen. He lets her die. because he knows the price of saving her is way too high of a cost. And with that being said, Flashpoint collapses. The world is reset, but not perfectly. When Barry emerges, reality is a little bit different. Welcome to the New 52, everyone! I never really read that series. I heard it wasn't that good. You guys let me know. Barry saved the world, but in the process, DC rebooted their entire continuity. Lazy bastards. So the moral of the story is, don't mess with time travel. Unless you're cool with rebooting an entire comic book universe and erasing Superman's red underwear. So let's have some closing thoughts, shall we, children? Absolute Flashpoint. That's it in a nutshell. A very quick nutshell. A story where the Flash becomes his own worst enemy. Where the rogues get rebranded. Where Superman, starving, Batman smokes, Wonder Woman slaughters, and Aquaman drowns half the planet. It's brutal. It's tragic. It's relentless. But it is also quite brilliant. It captures everything Barry Allen represents. Speed, hope, tragedy, and absolute sacrifice. Because for all his screw-ups, for all his mistakes, Barry always does the hardest thing in the end. He chooses the world over himself. Flashpoint is chaos at light speed. A car crash of the multiverse. A lesson in grief, power, and consequence. And it's also the story that reminds us, the faster you run from your pain, the quicker your pain will catch up to you. So the next time you think about fixing your past, remember Barry Allen. He tried it. Really did. And all he got was the worst timeline in all of comics history. So, this, my freaky darlings, my beautiful aliens and angels, this has been Nerds, Geeks, and Lame's rendition review of Absolute Flashpoint. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm trying to go run back in time to stop myself from eating that Taco Bell burrito. Don't drop the chalupa, children, because unlike Barry, I can live with my mistakes, well, barely. So let's look at the cast before we cast off. There's Barry Allen, the Flash, Nora Allen, Thomas Wayne, the Batman, Cyborg, Victor Stone, Superman, Kal-El, Clark Kent, Reverse Flash, Eobard Thorne, Captain Cold, or Citizen Cold, let's get it right, from Mr. Snart, Captain Boomerang, I forgot he has an Aussie accent, Mirror Master, Heatwave, Pied Piper, Weather Wizard, and the Top. And I say once again in conclusion, those names suck. So be easy, all my freaky darlings. Until next time, until the next review. Might do something about the Hulk. Who knows?